All right, in previous videos, we saw how to use the Wave NX Ambisonics plugin in Max. We also saw that you can't simply use it in as a plugin on a track in Live like you can in something like Ableton, because like you can in Pro Tools, because Ableton only has stereo tracks, and this needs to be fed by quad tracks. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull everything together into a Max for Live device. So everything you've done so far into a Max for Live device. And then, yeah, take it from there. So for this, we could really use an audio effect, an instrument, or MIDI. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. Oh, it does in that we want to put audio out. So the easiest thing to do is going to be use audio effect. So let's use audio effect. Oh yeah, you can put that on a MIDI track as well. That's fine, and we can bring MIDI into it in a second. So I've just put it on the audio track. That's old stuff. Don't need it. This is the patch. Okay, so we're going to start by using our ambi panning patch. So if this was you, what you would do is you would go and copy everything from your patch, your ambi panning patch in Max and then copy all of it. So Command A, Command C, you'd close it and you'd come and put this into your Max for Live device like so. All right, looking good. Again, I'm using the ambi encoder, not the ambi panner. So if you did have the ambi panner, maybe I'll just do it as if like it really is you guys doing it. So again, you all have something that's set up using the ambi panning object. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to use the example. So here it is. Yours will be some variation of this, probably with a bit more design happening. Now, the thing is, when you bring this into Live, you can't hear it, and you can't hear it in Max for Live because you can only use 2 audio outputs for the plug out. But we're going to fix that. So again, instead of this, you should be using your own your patch, your current patch that you're working on in Max for Live. Sorry. All this can go now. The DAC part that can go. Start window. I'll just keep 4 of these meters because we could use 4 of them. But the main thing is we're going to change this ambi panning object from an ambi panning object to an ambi encoder. Ambi encode. And we're going to have one set of ambisonic B format outputs and then however many inputs you want. I'm just going to keep it at 2, but if you had more than 2, you'll need more than 2. So now that's ambi encode. Otherwise, every other part of your patch will still sound and work the same. But we could plug 2 of those outputs into Live and hear it. Let's just prove that. There we go. And hopefully you can hear that. Check my recording. Yep. But, yeah, and you can see it's coming through Live as well. But it's not ambisonic. So to do that, we need our Waves NX plugin and the ambisonic version that we can't simply load in Live onto a Live track. So to do that, we need the Vst Host Object. This is it here. Again, right click, VST help. The good old Command E, Command A, Command C, Command W. Close that, delete that, paste it in here. Cool. What don't I need? Don't need the description. Don't need the example source file. Might need some of this stuff for reference. Let's see. Because of the layout, let's put this over here. Again, you should probably encapsulate all this stuff, and we've talked about the Max for Live style guide before, and we'll go over it again later. But for now, here are the 2 things, just so we can see it clearly in this Max for Live device. Then we need to load the Wave NX plug. So to do that, I'm going to get rid of this as well. I'll leave it there just for now. But anyway, plugin. So we click plug, and on a Mac, you need to go to applications. Go to the Waves folder. Imagine you've already installed this. And the ambi panning plugin that we want is the VST3. VST3. So open. It launches the head tracker. Great. And we can press open on the VST to see that it's all tracking correctly, and it is. And then what we need to do, as we explored before, in the VST object, object, we need to put in, you can see it there, arguments, number of inputs and number of outputs. So the number of inputs we need for this are 4, and the number of outputs are 2. There we go. And we can see there's other outlets on this object, but therefore parameter names and other things as well. But the 2 audio outputs are audio 1, audio 2 are here. So I can effectively now, I could imagine, again, I might switch this around now, just for the sake of making this a little bit clearer. But the ambient panner is generating our audio, and then it's going to go into here. So moved it around on the left here. So the output of our VST object is going to be what feeds the stereo output of our device. Cool. I'm going to delete these connecting cables just for now. And then we don't need this. That's part of the demo. We don't need that. And we'll keep these here just as a nice reminder. Cool. So then what we need to do is feed the 4 outputs of our ambient encoder into the 4 inlets on our VST object. So here we go. Now we're going to assume that because it's formatted, that it's a 1-to-1 patch at this point. Like if I was to put this here, this VST is essentially replacing the DAC object you had before. So if I put it like this, maybe that helps illustrate that. Great. Cool. So that should work. And then we could do things like, just for now, let's very crudely select the source position stuff and put that in our presentation. Then we'll, in the background, inspect a window, do what we always do, open in presentation mode, jump into presentation mode, and just put this stuff so it's like visible. What can we do? We can put that there. We actually don't need this, whatever that is, in presentation mode, so remove. Cool. Maybe we can even like put this here. There, that's nice. So now you'd think that you'd be able to save this and then open it, and it should work. So let's give it a try. So let's close this. It'll prompt me to save it. So this is ambisonic patch. Ambisonic. I'm just going to give it the course name. BSP. They'll help me find it later. BSP153 Ambisonic 1, because this is the first version. Ambisonic V1. Ambisonic 1's good. There we go. So now that should have saved that into here. I don't know what's going on there. Great. And then if I delete that, close and open my folder, let's see if I can open this again. So Ambisonic 1. Ooh. Let's open that again. Now, make the distance 1 on these, and then play with that. Now, it doesn't sound right. You'll notice the ambi, if you try this at home, the ambi panning, the ambisonic nature of it isn't working. And that's because, if we open our patch, unlock it, go and have a look at the VST module, and then press open. What do we notice? There's no plugin loaded. That's because, well, yeah, this doing what we just did didn't save the fact that we wanted to open that plugin here. So what we need is a method to open that plugin in the VST object when we launch this device. And so that'll just take a little bit of researching on the VST part. So we see what kind of messages we can get. Open. So let's, because we were pressing, oh no, plug is the thing we really want. So load plugin. Let's have a look down here. The word plug with no arguments opens a standard file dialog. The word plug followed by a symbol argument searches for plugins with the specified name in the max search path. Ooh, what's the max search path? We'll have to work that out. If a new plugin is opened and found, the old plugin, if any, is discarded. An optional second argument to the plug can be used to specify a plugin within a shell plugin, e.g. Wave Shell. That's what we're dealing with. This can be either a symbolic plugin name or a ID. Okay, so basically, for the moment anyway, this is almost... we'd love to have that automated so we don't have to think about it. But just for now, just to prove this point, let's add to our presentation the plug and then the open. So now in presentation mode. So this isn't ideal. What I would like is for the plugin inside of this Max for Live device to open automatically when it's launched, but we'll get there. Oh, well, one tiny step towards that would be to do the thing that will bang this message when it opens, and that is the live.this device. Let's see if this works. So if hopefully it'll just bang that message upon opening the plug, and then I've placed it into the presentation mode in case it doesn't work. Save, close. Oh, that was interesting. Let's try that again. Hey, cool. So at the moment, what we have to do is then click here. I'd love to be able to just like copy that name, but anyway, we'll see. And then click here or navigate to the plugin you want, and then open. And now that seems to have worked better. We can show the plugin here. Great. We can adjust our sweet spot, and then we can play with our. Now this is working. And also the fun thing, remember, is that with the face tracking or the head tracking, open the plugin. When I turn my head, it's actually reflected in what I'm hearing, and hopefully what you're hearing in this video recording too. All right, this went for way too long again. So, but the number one thing now would be to get it to launch that that plugin automatically, like by selecting it or saving it or freezing it or something. We'll look into that in a bit. But yeah, the licensing stuff might make it hard, but we'll work it out. Anyway, that's now it's in. Now for the first time ever though, I just want to reiterate, for the first time ever, we have our ambisonics using the ambi panner and ambi encoder, not the ambi panner, but the ambi encoder from the ICT objects that we've been using all this time. For the first time ever, they are now available to be used in I'll stop that, to be available to use in your Max for Live device. I'll do one more video on how to integrate, do the MIDI and stuff into this in the next video. All right.